My name is Rachael Burch, and I am a senior at Traverse City Christian. I've gone to Traverse City Christian for 6 very impactful years. I'm really glad to share with you the situations and important things in my life that have made me the person that I am today. I was born in the town of Escanaba, and I lived in the UP for the first few years of my life. Some fun facts about me: my first movie that I've ever watched was Shrek, and I still love it to this day. And whenever I wrote the letter E, it would look like a hair comb, as my mom put it. Also, I have always loved drawing since I was about 2 years old, and I know a lot of you know me as someone who's very quiet, but I was actually a very outgoing person as a child. As you know, I love art and I love painting and drawing, and I've been painting and drawing for quite a few years. And I started taking my art seriously my sophomore year when I knew that I was good enough to start selling my art. Art is a way to unleash my creativity and feelings, and it brings me a lot of peace. Sometimes whenever I'm stressed out about something like a school assignment, I'll procrastinate and just paint something. We moved to Traverse City when I was just about to go into the 1st grade, and I was at Westwoods Elementary School for the entirety of elementary. I was never really someone who had a lot of friends during this time, but there were still some people I hung out with. Middle school was when things started to take a turn. 6th grade year, I went to West Middle School, and it was not a good school for me at all. The influence there was really bad, and I hung out with the wrong group of people. After 1 year of being at West, I moved to Traverse City Christian, and I am really grateful that I was able to move to this school because of the things that I've gone through. I transferred to Traverse City Christian my 7th grade year, and again, I'm really glad I made the choice to do that, but there were still some really difficult things that I had to go through. Being a new student at the school, I was left out a lot, and it really hurt, and it really hurt my confidence. And because I wasn't really a social person in general, it was still hard for me to make a lot of friends. So now you would think that after being a student, the first year, getting it over with, finally making some friends, that wasn't really the case. I still didn't have a lot of friends, and it was just really hard to make any new friends, and I just did not have those connections. This really hurt my confidence, and I started to go into a really dark place of my life. And another addition that really hurt me a lot was my first youth group trip to Washington, D.C. I was treated horribly, and it was just not a good time, and it really made me not want to be in my youth group anymore. So, as I said, these were some really difficult things that made my life take a huge turn, and I would not have expected this to happen. So I became really depressed and dangerously suicidal, and it was really awful. I was not myself, and every day I thought about how everyone would be better without me in the world. My grades were really bad, and I never enjoyed doing anything anymore. I stopped painting. I just was not myself, and it was the worst thing I've ever experienced. And not only was I hurting, but I was also hurting my friends and family, and I feel so bad that they had to watch that happen. They had to watch me in this self-destructive state that I thought I was never going to get out of. And as I was going through this, I discovered a music group known as 21 Pilots. And one of their songs that really resonated with me was a song called Kitchen Sink. I know this is kind of an odd name for a song, but the meaning behind this is really beautiful as it relates to purpose. And like I said, the whole theme of the song is about purpose, and it's about struggling with purpose, not knowing what our purpose is, or just, thinking that we're just completely worthless. And this song kind of explains that sometimes we don't know what our purpose is, and sometimes we don't feel that we have purpose, but we do. And everything has different meanings for everyone. So, for example, the writer and singer of this song, Tyler Joseph, talks about a kitchen sink, and he kind of explains this as a kitchen sink to him is something really important to him, but it may mean nothing to us. And it could have been a situation that made him really think that this is an important thing to him. So the lyrics of the song made me really think about my life and my purpose. And I know I kind of sound like this song saved my life, but it didn't. I was still really struggling during this time. but it made me think about my purpose. Now, during the summer before my sophomore year, I decided that I would go to counseling and I would get help. And this decision process was really difficult because once you get into this depression, it's hard to let that go because that's the only thing that keeps you standing. Even if it's destroying you, it's still something that you want to hold on to because you think you'll have nothing left. And I finally decided, after a lot of thinking, that I needed to get help, and I did, and it was the best decision ever. So now I'm here. I am beyond the kitchen sink. I am beyond feeling I have no purpose in life. I'm beyond the feeling of being worthless and having nothing to live for. I'm a new person, and I feel like more confident and more myself than usual. And I know, like I said, this was a really hard time in my life. I'm so glad I went through this because now I can help other people and I can understand people when they're struggling with this as well. So, and to add to that, I'm glad I went through it at Traverse City Christian because if I stayed at West Middle School, I wouldn't have been the same person I was here because I wouldn't have had that influence, that Christian influence in my life to help me get through this. And said if I stayed at West, it wouldn't have been like that at all. So speaking of purpose, I want to tell you what I'll be doing in my future. I will be attending Cornerstone University in Grand Rapids, and I will be majoring in the pre-physician's assistant study, and I hope to pursue a career as a surgical physician's assistant. So there's some people that I really want to thank, and because without these people, I don't know how I would have gotten through the things that I've gone through. I want to thank my mom, dad, sister for always being there for me when times were really hard. I thank you for supporting me all the way and helping me with my big decisions in life. I want to thank you for always encouraging me to do my best in what I want to do in life and teaching me valuable lessons. I also want to thank you for always making me laugh and being people I can goof around with. I want to thank my grandparents, Grandma and Grandpa Schultz, for being some of the best people I know. You always make me smile and laugh, and there's never a dull moment when you're around. I want to thank my church family, youth group, but specifically I want to thank Jason and Laura Bauer for bending over backwards for me all the time during my struggles. I know that there have been times where I've made it really difficult for you guys, and I know I made it hard for you guys during this time, and that's why I want to thank you for being so patient and loving to me. Jason was actually the person who introduced me to one of my favorite verses in the Bible, and this verse is Luke 12:27. Consider how the wildflowers grow. They do not labor or spin, yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. This verse is meant to encourage us to not be anxious. As a person who's always struggled with anxiety, this verse is really inspiring and calming to me. It brings peace to me every time I hear it. I would like to thank Troy Ellenboss as well for counseling me out of my darkest places in life. If it weren't for you and everyone else that I've mentioned in the thank you so far, I wouldn't be alive. I would be dead. And I know that sounds really blatant, but it's true. So I thank you for that. I would like to thank my teachers as well. You've helped me a lot through some difficult times, and I'm eternally grateful for that. I thank you for teaching me what I need to know in life, and I thank you for preparing me for the future. Lastly, I want to thank my class. I know there aren't a lot of you, but I want to thank you for making me laugh, creating memories, and helping me make the most of high school. You're definitely a class I'll never forget. And so I know I would be doing this speech in front of everyone right now, but unfortunately that wasn't able to happen. I wish I could see your faces when I'm talking, but unfortunately I can't do that. Senior year has been a little different than expected. It's really, really heartbreaking that the last 3 months of senior year have been ripped away from us. We had to cancel our prom, or as you call it, chalice, and our last months of school, we're basically looking at a screen, and our daily interactions are just not the same anymore. So, though we aren't able to celebrate like we wanted to, that doesn't mean we can still remember everyone's accomplishment of graduating. I'm really glad I was able to share this with you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you.